All right, so welcome to the Pharmacy Technology program. This is one of the classrooms or labs that we use in our program. And my name is Mr. Roger Rodriguez. I'm one of the faculty with the Pharmacy Technology program. So what we're looking here on the screen is the homepage for the Nursing and Allied campus. So looking at this, if you are looking for any information in terms of the Pharmacy Technology program, under our programs, we are Pharmacy Technology. Now, in terms of what we offer two types of degree plans. We offer the certificate and we also offer the associate level. And in a minute, I'll go ahead and break it down for you and show you the difference between those two degree plans. Now, how many of you have heard, well, you don't have to go to school to become a pharmacy tech. You can just pick up a book, go take the exam, and boom, I'm done. Don't have to waste 2 years, half a year of my life. How many of you have ever heard that? Most of you. Now, this is important in terms of those candidates or those folks who are wanting to become pharmacy technicians, and I am going to refer to the PTCB, which is the Pharmacy Technician Certification Board, and this is their website. And one of the changes that they have come up with is that by 2020, all candidates who are sitting for their exam to become pharmacy technicians must have completed or successfully completed an ASHP accredited program. So that sets you up in terms of coming to school here, finishing the program with us. That will allow you to be able to sit for that PTCB or the Pharmacy Technician Certification exam. Now, in terms of the area that we cover, pretty much we are, at this point in time, we are the only ones that are ASHP accredited. So looking at from Laredo this way, we're the only ones. Corpus Christi this way, we're the only ones. So really that is going to have an impact in terms of the candidates that potentially apply to our program once 2020 rolls around. So if you're looking at becoming a pharmacy technician anytime soon, now would be the time to be able to apply. You know, because of the fact that at this point in time, we are a non-selective program. So what that means is we serve a first come first serve basis. So application period opens up, we start receiving all the applications, then those applications that are complete, then we go ahead and say, okay, this one has acceptance, this one has conditional acceptance, depending on what is missing or what is completed based on the application. Okay, so moving at our application period first. So you have those pieces of paper there in front of you. You are required to have two prereqs that we'll cover once we cover the degree plan. So this is an example of the application. Notice that it is very basic. It has very basic information. And again, we are a first come, first serve. So those 35 students that complete this application successfully and have all the requirements, then those are the 35 students that we accept. So at that point, or at this point, this is our capacity, but we are looking to expand over to the West Local campus to be able to serve a larger population of students. So our application period begins in February 6th of 2015. That is the next application period, and it runs through the last Friday of May. So you have pretty much 4 months, 3 months to be able to complete this application and turn it in. So once you turn it in, then we review the application. We wait for the period to be done. We review them, then we start sending out the acceptance letters, and then at that point we start in the fall. So at this point, we only start once a year, which is in the fall. So the class that we have now started in August. So the same thing with the next class coming in. Okay. So let's look at the degree plans. Now I'm going to cover only the associate degree plan because of the fact that that is the most popular degree plan that we offer. Now in terms of difference, you look at your degree plan, and they're exactly the same up until the summer session. So once we hit the summer session, this would be considered your certificate level, and then this would be considered your associate level. So if you do complete your associate level or your associate degree, you are completing your certificate and your associate. So pretty much you end up graduating with 2 degrees from this particular program. Now, looking at our prereqs, we have pharmacy, our pharmaceutical math number 1. anatomy and physiology for allied health, okay, or 2401, and we have introduction to pharmacy. Now, looking at your papers, you have a little asterisk there, letting you know that if you are taking the anatomy and physiology for allied health, that is the only prereq that you need. So that's the only class that you would take. If you're taking the regular anatomy and physiology, which is 2401, then you must take 2401 and 2402. Because we are, again, ASHP accredited, so that means that ASHP requires us to have the student complete a anatomy and physiology that covers all the systems or the body systems. So in 2401, they only cover half the systems, and then you would have to cover the other in order to satisfy the ASHP requirement. So we advise students to just take the anatomy and physiology for allied health, take one class, and you're pretty much done with that prereq. So part of the degree plan, you have your practicum, which is your clinicals. Most of you know them as such. You are required to complete 320 hours, which is 160 hours in the retail pharmacy, and you have 160 hours in the community, in the institutional pharmacy. So those are kind of the two main settings that we as pharmacy technicians work in. So those two. So the difference between those, we have when we're trying to decide, okay, what is good for me, what do I want to become, what do I go to school for, one of the main things is money, right? We come and we say, hey, you know what, where am I going to make the most money, or what am I going to expect to make? And to give you a breakdown, this is for this region, and this is for what we've collected based on the contacts that we have within the community. You have your retail, which is your community pharmacy, so you're looking at H-E-B, Walgreens, CVS, any of those retail pharmacies. You're looking at anywhere from $8 to $14 an hour. So it just depends, again, where you work, your experience, what type of education you have. So that is kind of the breakdown for retail. And the hospital is a little bit more interesting. In the hospital, that is your institutional, so you have your hospital. You can start anywhere from $12 to about $15 an hour. So you have that. It's a little bit more money, right? You start off a little bit higher, but that is kind of the base pay. Now, within the hospital, you have different types of certification, and one of the main certifications that we offer here at STC is the IV certification. Now, IV certification allows you to mix IVs, and in a minute we'll go over to the IV lab and we'll show you around in terms of what we do over there. But your IV technician, you're looking to make anywhere from $15 to about $18 an hour. So that, again, bumps your pay a little bit more. Then from there, you have your IV certification, then you also have your chemo certification. So that's one step above. So then you go ahead and write down chemo, and you're looking at your chemotherapy anywhere from $18 to $25 an hour. And again, this is just, I guess put the dollar signs there, right? But this is just, again, based on you on what type of experience, what type of job setting you end up with, but that's kind of gives you a brief breakdown of the money that you're looking to make once you start to work. So in terms of our outlook, what is it that pharmacy technicians are to expect once we start working? So at this point, notice that the median is about $14 an hour, $14.10 per hour. At this point, the entry-level education, high school diploma or equivalent. Now, one of the things that is very interesting is that we're moving toward a future that is going to require education. So again, at this point, all you do is really pick up a book, go take the exam, and you're a pharmacy tech. You register with the Texas State Board of Pharmacy, and you're good to go. But we start seeing now, or we're starting to see that hospitals are requiring their associate level or associate degree. So now, okay, we're starting to introduce, now we have different types of requirements. So that is only good news for this. Now, once they start implementing all these different education requirements, then we can see these numbers starting to shift because again, now we have education, right? So that is directly correlated with in terms of how much you get paid. Now, work experience, at this point, again, you don't need anything. We're expected to grow at about 20%, which is faster than average. So that is, again, a very, very good sign for people who are trying to get into the pharmacy field because, again, there will be more expansion of jobs, really. Now, one of the things that we always talk about here in the program is that most students say, you know what, pharmacy technician is great, but I want to become a pharmacist. This would be a great stepping stone to become a pharmacist, because of the fact that now pharmacy schools do require candidates to have pharmacy experience. So the only way that you're going to get into the pharmacy is by becoming a pharmacy tech. So even if you are interested in becoming a pharmacist, this would be a very good route to get your career going, or your educational career going, in terms of going to pharmacy school. So at this point, do I have any questions? All right, so going back to the question, what do pharmacy technicians do? Anybody know? Okay. So you go to Walmart, how many of you have gone to Walmart, H-E-B? You see the techs, right? I'm pretty sure everybody here has gone to pick up a prescription. What do you see them do? Just kind of count the pills and put them in another bottle, slap a label, and off it goes, right? Well, that's only, I guess, not even half of what pharmacy technicians do. Really, pharmacy technicians are able to do anything and everything that does not require a clinical judgment of a pharmacist. So at this point, as long as we don't make any kind of, again, clinical judgment, we can do it. Now, the state of Texas is, again, putting more responsibility on the pharmacy tech. In the state of Texas, we have a program called Tech Check Tech. So that means that now pharmacy techs are able to check the work of another pharmacy tech. So again, all those different types of requirements and all those different responsibilities are going to start shifting these numbers toward the higher spectrum. Now, who is going to be able to do those kinds of things? Well, the people who have the education, the people who have the training. So again, that is another reason to continue. And if this is something that you are interested in, finish the whole program and get your associate degree. So at that point, really, that is the pinnacle. There is no degree higher than the associate. So you're able to freely choose whatever it is that you want to do. So one of the things that kind of showcasing the lab here, what we have here is a setup similar to what you would find in a community pharmacy and a hospital, so institution. So we kind of use this room to split it up into two. Now, you go to Walmart, H-E-B, you look behind the counter and you see something like that, right? Where you have all the different medications, all the different bottles, and then we go ahead and follow these prescriptions. So yes, counting pills, counting tablets, capsules, that is one of the things that we do as pharmacy technicians, but we do a whole lot more. So we process the prescription, we help the pharmacist being able to successfully send that prescription over and getting that over to the patient when they need that medication. So what's more interesting is over here. So you guys kind of keep shifting around, right? We keep moving you, but come on over here, everybody, so you can see this. All right, if you guys follow me over here, we have one of our pharmacy labs that we use for our program. And as you can see, this is really a very basic lab. Most of the equipment that we have here is used in a chemistry, so if you have ever been in a chemistry course, you would be very familiar with these equipments or supplies. Now, in terms of what do we do with pharmacy technology, our students really have a broad field of different job settings that they can land, and one of them is a compounding pharmacy. Now, compounding is when we take something that is not commercially available and we turn it into something that is patient specific. So patient compliance is our number one goal. So we can turn things like a tablet into a lollipop, or a tablet into something like a chocolate. That makes it very easy to administer medication to children who do not necessarily want to take a tablet. So one of the things that we're big on in terms of the program is I can show you a video on how to prepare an ointment, but if you've never really put your hands on it or had any type of hands-on experience, then it becomes very difficult once you experience that out in the field. So we want to make sure that our students are very well prepared once they pretty much go out and start working at their sites. Alright, so one of the things that we do in the program, one of the actual labs that we have in terms of the program is creating some suppositories. So these are suppositories that the students from previous semesters have made. So we turn something that was a powder into a suppository. So this would be something that a patient who cannot swallow or keep anything down, this is a dosage form that would be administered to that patient. Another lab that is very popular in terms of the program is making a lip balm. So as you can see, this is a regular chapstick tube, and we have created this chapstick from medication. So we combined a variety of different ingredients to prepare this chapstick. Alright, so I want to show you our IV admixture lab. This would be the compounding sterile admixtures class. Now, this particular class is something that is done outside of the program. Within the program, we do teach the students the very basic of aseptic compounding, but it is a special certification that we have for the students that want to work in the hospital and want to mix IVs once they graduate from the program. Now, if you look around this particular room, this is a very exact, or a very good replica of what the student will experience and would see once they start working. That would be considered, or that room over there would be considered the clean room. This would be considered the ante-room where we're standing, and this is where all the preparations take place. So we wash our hands, we gown up, we get our materials ready. If we need to do any calculations, then we do have the board to be able to assist us in doing that. So once the student is ready to go, then they would proceed into the clean room. Now, if you haven't noticed, this particular room has no tables or chairs. So everything that we do in this particular room is all hands-on. So one of the things that I really enjoy about this class is teaching the students the actual technique, or the procedures that they will be using when they graduate. So that is one of the things that is very key. And again, I go back to the previous lab. We want to make sure that our students have that hands-on training so that when they go out and start working, they're very well prepared. Now, if you follow me over here, this particular cart has about maybe a week's worth of work. So you can see that the students come in here and they are getting a lot of hands-on training. Now, I really enjoy the way the building is set up because of the fact that it mimics a real-life hospital. So everything that we prepare in this particular class, we are able to send up to the different floors, the LVNs, the RNs, the EMTs. So depending on who needs medication, we're able to provide that. And really, again, we're showing the students how to work together within the healthcare team. So in here in the clean room, follow me, in the clean room, everything that is in here, again, is a working replica of what the student will experience once they graduate. So this would be a laminar EFCO hood, and this is where IV technicians would come in and prepare their sterile compounding. So notice that this requires a special training, or a special type of training, to be able to perform and compound aseptic products. Now, one of the things that I incorporate in my class in terms of the IV admixture, this particular test is something that is done for, I'm going to turn this off so you guys can hear me. This particular test is performed in hospitals across the nation. So This is called a media field test. So this is what is used to certify technicians in the hospital. Now at this point in time, there is no standard, there is no type of training that is required. But in the state of Texas, by 2015, September 1st, 2015, now it becomes a law where anybody and everybody who compounds sterile products has to have IV certification. So I like to use this particular media field test to show the students exactly what they will see once they start graduating, once they start getting ready to become certified. Now every hospital will at some point or another require the students to perform a media field test as part of their annual recertification. And really what this test does is we take a product, the solution in here, and we go ahead and fill the other 3 sterile vials, and after an incubation period of 14 days or 2 weeks, then we're able to come in here and look and see if there's any bacterial growth. And at that point, if there is any type of growth, then that would constitute a fail, and the student is not using aseptic technique, which is our #1 goal. Now, over here, this, again, everything in here works. Everything in here works. So again, I'm gonna turn it off so you guys can hear me. But this is an isolator. What this does is, in hospitals that do not have a clean room, such as what we have here, they're still able to compound sterile products using this particular isolator. Now, in this room, we have 2 chambers. We have the clean room, we have the anti-room. In the isolator, we have 2 chambers as well. We have the anti-chamber, and this is the actual compounding chamber, to where the students would pass their supplies in here, then close the door, and then using the gloves, go ahead and transfer everything over to the compounding chamber. So again, we like to make sure that our students are very well versed, that they have all the training that they need, because we don't know exactly what they will be experiencing once they graduate. Now, we do a little bit of chemo for those technicians that do want to go on and get their chemo certification. At this point in time, we do not offer any chemo certification, but that is something that, again, if the public or the region demands, then we would certainly offer that for our students. But we give this look into the chemo certification so that the student can make a decision on saying, hey, you know what, I like being an IV tech, but I want to make a little bit more money and I want to work with chemotherapy, then that would be their next step. So we give the student the opportunity to excel and kind of climb up the ladder in terms of their careers using the different certifications. All right, so just to wrap things up, you know, it's important that when you come to school, you find out, okay, what type of pay am I expected to earn once we graduate, or once you graduate. So giving you a rough breakdown of the different salaries in terms of different settings, your retail and then your institutional. Retail technicians are expected, so retail, are expected to make anywhere from $8 to $12 an hour. So let me go ahead and put the $sign there in the hour. So again, it just depends on your experience, your education, and the place, really, corporate or independent. If you're working for a corporate, such as a Walgreens, CVS, you're earning closer to the $12 mark than the $8 mark. Now, in the hospital, so you have your hospital, you're earning anywhere from $12 to about $16 an hour. And again, it also depends on the hospital you're working with, the system or healthcare system that you're working in, and what type of experience you bring to the table. Now, here is where IV technicians and chemo technicians kind of separate themselves from the regular pharmacy technicians, and which is why it's important to get those certifications so that you can earn a little bit more money. So you have an IV tech. So again, this is depending on your setting and your experience. You're making anywhere from $15 anywhere up to about $18 an hour. So again, huge jump from retail. Now you're making a little bit more money. And again, this is a special certification that would require you to come back and finish that certification through our continuing education program. Then you say, okay, you know what, I enjoy what I do with IVs, but I want to get paid a little bit more. And I mentioned that a little bit earlier when we talked about the chemo certification. Chemo techs will make anywhere from 18 to about $25 an hour. And again, it all depends on what type of experience, what type of setting. So notice that if you're looking at this salary, you know, this is probably the one that is most appealing to most of you because of the fact that it is the one that gets paid a little bit more.